Hey guys, this is a market update. The charts look fantastic, and if you're looking for bull market chart patterns, they're all here. Altcoins are starting to run as well. You've got some Ethereum outperformance recently, but a lot of smaller altcoins are starting to get bids as well. Just another growth phase for the market, and so we're in a good position. Now, the Fed is cutting, right? They cut interest rates 25 basis points. They're going to cut a few more times. Everyone's worried about that. They're way too high, okay? They need to come down to around about the inflation rate, so they can come down another % or more before even being considered hawkish in any way. It's really the 10-year as well in the US. As long as that stays kind of under 4%, I think everything's fine. The economy is running hot. They want to run it hot on purpose, right? They want inflation and they want positive GDP to try and debase a lot of the debt that they had to issue during the pandemic. That's the plan. That is happening. It's slow and steady, and prices are at all-time highs. It's not the 2020 cycle. It's not like money printing and helicopter money everywhere and people buying monkey JPEGs and JPEGs of rocks. It's different, right? This is slower and more steady, and it's more professional, and it's more normal. And we're at all-time highs, and we're in the biggest growth industry in the world, maybe except AI. So this is great, and there's no reason why we should go lower here. There's no reason why we should top out, right? The money is still being printed. They're trying to run the economy hot. That is happening. And therefore assets go to new all-time highs. And they're not trying to draw it down because the Fed are cutting interest rates. So this is a bull market, believe it, and believe that we can go to much higher highs over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. If the Fed start becoming hawkish again, I'll let you know. I'll get out of my trades. Not for right now. Look at this. This resistance we turned into support. It's the third week now of a small recovery. This is a bullish chart pattern right here in a bull market, right? You're looking for some consolidation and maybe hopefully a breakout to new all-time highs. That's on the weekly. Great news. On the daily, you can see the same thing. We definitely came into this support zone. We just got bought right out of it. I had a load of bids in at these levels hoping that they'd get hit, but we just literally tiptoed into it, and then we've gone a little bit higher. So great news. If you trade Bitcoin and crypto, check out Bybit via the link below. You can get a $30,000 deposit bonus via that link if you're a new user. And if you can't trade on Bybit, Apex is Bybit's DEX, so you can just trade on here with your crypto wallet. There's a $10,000 deposit bonus and a permanent fee discount via that link below in the description as well. I wouldn't say it's full-blown alt season yet, but it's encouraging that a lot of altcoins now have, real fundamental reasons why you'd want to buy them. They have a ton of users, they have a ton of activity, and a lot of them are earning fees from that activity and using it to buy back tokens. Now, I don't want to get into the whole debate about decentralization and burning tokens and what's money and what's not. Man, it's just, it's a waste of time, right? Assets, you can buy them or not. And smart contract platforms are clearly modern financial networks that earn fees. And that's good news because it means that if you buy the token, you've got fees buying it as well, pushing the price up and the supply down. And you can say, well, that's not going to outperform Bitcoin because Bitcoin's money. I don't care, right? It just doesn't matter. Buy something, make money in it. But there's a lot of networks that are doing really well. Okay, so BNB just hit $1,000 a coin, right? Binance has 250 million individual user accounts. There's going to be 1 billion users on that platform, and they're going to push them all to BNB network, right? Then you have Ethereum going to all-time highs. Absolutely insane in terms of the buying of Ethereum, but all of Wall Street's using that. So that's the kind of institutional chain. You can really see that. Other networks as well. Sol isn't really my bag in terms of the activity on there, like meme coin trading and stuff. It's not really for me. However, there are users doing something on there. And so as an investor, like as a TradFi guy, if you're like, hey, my client, you need to put money in this thing. You just need to know that there's users, they're paying fees, and that's it, right? Like, do you agree with all of the activity on the internet or on Facebook? Probably not, but you invest in Meta because it's a massive business earning money, right? So that's the difference. A lot of these coins now actually represent networks that have loads of users. Everything's going up, right? We had a little dip here, but everything is starting to inflect to the upside. So what you have here is Bitcoin in orange. You have ETH in this color right here. So basically, one for one with Bitcoin. You have BNB coin here, Solana. They're all doing well, and a lot of other tokens as well are outperforming this. Total 3, which is all of crypto except for Bitcoin, ETH, and stablecoins, right up here as well, right? Crypto is a growing industry. Loads of tokens are going to do really well, not just Bitcoin. Now, should you put all of your life savings into a smaller smart contract chain? Probably not. There's reasons why I invest in Bitcoin. It's not because of the performance, it's because of the trustworthiness, right? Like I don't invest in other things. It's literally just all crypto. Right? I'm not a LARP. I have all my money in this stuff. So I need the most trustworthy thing to put my life savings in. For a trade, I can go out on the risk curve. But for my life savings, I don't want to put all my money in a smart contract chain. There's a lot more risk there because yes, they're growing users, but it doesn't mean they're going to grow users every year for the next 25 years, right? That's why most, I think, should be in Bitcoin. But look, there's other financial networks that are winning here as well, right? And they're all going up in value. We're in the right industry. We're going to make money here. You just have to be patient, dollar cost average in, and we're in a bull market because the money is being printed, all assets are at all-time highs, and we're in an industry with way more growth than other industries. So we're going to outperform. When am I going to sell out of my trades? Well, not right now. I don't think I need to right now. I think the market is quite constructive. The market is never perfect, but the reality is that assets will go up over time, and I think we're in a growth phase here. What I've done here is, this is the 200-week moving average on Bitcoin. So a very long-term moving average of the price. And I don't believe in old wives' tales or the power law or anything like that. I just believe in understanding what the landscape is right now, and if the next 6 months is going to be decent or if it's going to be not great. Well, this chart is unbelievable in terms of how perfect it's been 2 times before. It's not a lot of data, but this is the price of Bitcoin at the all-time high. If you go over here, this is the 200-week moving average. You can see that exactly when the 200-week moving average passed over or met the previous all-time high price, we carry that on, that was the exact top within a month. Again, the exact top here, where the price got to a couple of times, if you carry that over, that is exactly when the 200-week moving average reaches that price. That was the exact top within a month. That's insane, right? So if we carry that over the previous all-time high, the 200-week moving average isn't near it. In fact, we've got a little ways to go. So that means, potentially, if we carry on this pattern, you'd expect the price to go a lot higher, the 200-week moving average to move up. That would be your sell signal. Now, I don't believe in these things. Every single pattern or law or anything you try and predict is always going to get broken at some point. But interesting, right? It doesn't feel like this is a top. This would be an extremely disappointing top if we just kind of roll over and then go back into a period of consolidation or a bear market again. But considering the Fed is cutting interest rates, the economy isn't falling apart, right? The economy isn't too hot. Like inflation is too high, but they want it high, right? And it's not like at a point where the Fed is trying to be hawkish. We're still constructive, right? So I still think we have time. This is some great data as well here from Jamie Coots. So I'll try and link this post below on X. Look, the settlement volumes of crypto are insane. We're getting up to one of the largest industries for settlement volumes worldwide, right? So this isn't some crazy industry full of JPEGs and monkeys, right? This is real. And so real investors are going to come in. So I think the best thing to have is like a 10-year view and just say, what is going to be used over the next 10 years and still be around? Because there's a lot of stuff that, over a bull market, you can fake transaction volumes. You can send money back and forth from one wallet to the next a billion times over, right? But if you cut through all of that, what's Wall Street using? Ethereum. Solana's being pushed into Wall Street as well. They're trying to do that. So that will probably be a US competitor, right? And then you have some others, which I can't go through everything, but look at the settlement volumes, 28 billion settlement volume each month on Ethereum, $23 billion of settlement volume on Tron, which is USDT. Governance around that maybe not as great, right? So that's why it has a much lower value, why Ethereum's highly valued in relation to Tron. But this isn't a joke industry. We are settling multiple billions of dollars of volume every month, and it's going to be the single largest set of financial networks, right? Inflation is low to non-existent. That's what the Trump admin is saying, but obviously that's not true, right? The whole game is to inflate prices to debase previous debt. And so what they say and what's the actual reality is completely different. We know that inflation is required in this system, and that's fine. Investors have known this for hundreds of years at this point, right? But we are in the best time period ever to actually protect against this. In previous history, you basically had bonds, which are literally the scam, right? And then some equities, which were kind of difficult to buy, and a lot of people couldn't have them. That's why gold was maybe available. We're in the best era ever to protect against the debasement of currency. So really positive, right? 36% of the CPI is now estimated. Okay, so that's trying to keep the number lower. But this is the cumulative amount of inflation as measured in dollars over the last 5 years. This is insane. This isn't great. However, we are in a position now where we can protect against this. You can buy Bitcoin easily. You can buy crypto easily. If you're in the West, you can buy stock market indices, quite easily. So we can all protect against this now. This is par for the course if you measure in dollars. If you measure this in Bitcoin, everything's down. Everything's down in Bitcoin because Bitcoin is fixed and these things aren't. These things grow in supply and Bitcoin doesn't. So it just measures the debasement of everything. Bitcoin measures the debasement of currency. It measures the debasement of eggs and coffee and everything else. Now, these prices can go up short term. If there's a shortage of coffee, then the exchange rate between Bitcoin can go up short term as supply outstrips demand. But eventually, people are going to plant more coffee beans in the ground and more coffee is going to come out. In fact, if you look at coffee now, the price is coming down. I'm assuming a new harvest or supply is now increased in the market. Over time, we produce more stuff. Therefore, goods and services debase versus Bitcoin. If you hold Bitcoin, everything gets cheaper. That's why we're here, right? So you can price in the debasement of currency, you can price in inflation, because inflation is just these things measured in fiat. This is the debauchery and debasement of fiat currency versus these things. It's as simple as that. Third mandate, discussions, yield curve control, printing of money. Every single government eventually prints money to buy their bonds. Because the bonds aren't payable, because you have to pay the bonds back in currency, but currency doesn't exist. You have to print it in order to pay back the debt. This is CPI over the long term, never goes down. Buy assets. We are in a fantastic period of time where we have access to Bitcoin and crypto so easily, just on your phone. You can protect against this. You don't have to worry about inflation. If you work hard, save in assets. If you're a young person watching this, save early, save often. Don't even worry about, I don't have enough to invest or it's not going to do anything. Save early, save often. Compound your gains over time. If you're a young person, just make sure that you have an account. You put some in over time because it's going to grow and it's going to compound. The other alternative is not doing this and just getting absolutely wrecked by inflation because it will never, ever, ever stop. If you trade Bitcoin or crypto, Bybit deposit bonus down below and Apex deposit bonus and fee discount down below as well. I'm James, this is MoneyDG. Cheers for watching and I'll see you in the next one.